Mark drives a car at 55 miles per hour, and Beth drives her car at 70 miles per hour. In part A, we're asked, how many more miles did Beth drive than Mark in 3 hours? Okay, so this looks like a similar question as we saw in problems 4 and 5. If we look at the first few words in part A, how many more miles? So this question, how many more, means we're comparing two things, and anytime you're looking for how much bigger is this than that, or how much smaller is this than that, that is always a case where we subtract. So let me write subtract here. So we're going to subtract. So we're looking at the number of miles that Beth drove and the number of miles that Mark drove. So let's look at those separately, and then we could compare them. So for Mark, well, Mark is driving at 55 miles per hour. So 55 miles in the first hour, 55 miles in the second, 55 miles in the third, and so on. So that means we're going to multiply 55 times the number of hours. So for Mark, he could drive 55 miles per hour times 3 hours. So that's a total of 165 miles that Mark could drive. So let me put a box around this. It's not the answer, but we're going to use that number. And then let's look at Beth separately. Now Beth is driving 70 miles per hour. Miles per hour. So that's 70 for each hour. So again, we're going to take 70 and multiply that by 3. And that will give us a total of 210 miles that Beth could drive. So if we're looking at how many more did Beth drive than Mark, like I said, that's where we subtract 210 minus 165 for a difference of 45 more miles. So Beth could drive 45 more miles than Mark. Now in part B, again, this is similar to what we saw in problems 2, 3, and 4, where we're looking at taking one big thing and splitting it up into smaller things. So we're taking this large amount of 275 miles, and well, Mark is driving at 55 miles per hour. So we're basically saying, how many 55s are there in 275? So we're taking the 275 and splitting it up into groups of 55. Each group of 55 miles becomes 1 hour of driving time. So we're taking, again, one big thing, splitting it up into smaller things, so we divide. So we're going to take the 275 and divide that by the 55 miles per hour. And when we divide these two numbers, we get 5. And we want to be careful with our units. 5 what? Well, the question is, how long will it take? And the answer is 5 hours. It will take Mark 5 hours to drive 275 miles. Okay, that should do it for this problem.